So this will be a quick roundup of all the adjustments that are in the service manual. I'm going to start with the tape tension because that's quite critical, and I ended up with about 3 different tension arms, and just did some comparisons of the 3 just to see if there was any difference between them, different felts, different suppliers of tension arms, stuff like that. I'm not going to go through every measurement that's in the service manual, but I just thought I'd mention a couple of key things. One of them is it keeps referencing dBm levels on the inputs, and that confused me for quite a while. I thought, dBms, that's a power measurement. Why are they specifying in dBms? I understand dBUs, but why dBms? And then I worked it out eventually. Okay, the recording bias adjustment, I actually found that you're probably better off doing it, I found anyway, and rather than doing it at 1 kilohertz, if you do it at 8 kilohertz, you can optimize the high frequency response off the tape, which I think is a better way of doing it. They've got this graph in here and they tell you to turn it fully clockwise and then wind it back a bit. I found it was easier just to put in 8 kilohertz and optimize it for that. If you went any higher than 8 kilohertz, like 10 kilohertz, it just completely drops off because it just won't do it anymore. And on the subject of that high frequency response, in the playback equalizer section, it says to adjust VR10 for -15 dBm at 10 kilohertz. Well, even with VR10 all the way to the end stop to get the best high frequency response I could, and using the recording bias to get the best high frequency response I couldn't get better than -25 dBm. The manual says -15. Yeah, when it was new maybe, but it won't do that anymore. There's a slight error in the manual here. For the echo modes and playback heads, it should read VR6, then VR5, then VR4, then VR7. This bit here is the echo intensity. Basically it's the feedback. When it goes into feedback, I found that I couldn't get that to work at all until I'd done all the other adjustments that come before it. So don't be tempted to skip ahead, go through the order that they are in the service manual. Oh, and there was one last fault that I found with mine. When I came to do the common mode rejection, which is like the balanced input adjustment, I found I couldn't get it, I couldn't minimize it or get a reading on the scope that looked anything like it. And then I noticed that somebody had changed VR1 for another pot. When I took the pot out the board, sure enough, it wasn't 470 byte variable resistor, it was 220. So again, somebody's put in variable resistor that's completely wrong. So I put in the right one and bingo, it all came in exactly as it says here.